President Trump is heading back to the White House after celebrating New Year's Eve with friends and family at his Mar-a-Lago resort. The president told reporters he is expecting a fantastic 2018. He and lawmakers have a busy schedule this month. On Wednesday, top Democrats and Republicans will meet to discuss the 2018 agenda in Congress. President Trump will then meet with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Paul Ryan next weekend at Camp David. Mr. Trump and congressional leaders are also expected to address the looming government shutdown. Congress has until January 19th to pass a spending bill. For more on all of this, let's bring in Molly Hooper. She's a CBSN political contributor and Capitol Hill reporter for The Hill. She's with me now from Washington. Molly, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Happy New Year.
Likewise. So let's talk about what are some of the top legislative priorities for Congress. What will they start to address as they work to pass another spending bill in the next few weeks?
Well, there's a few things that they must address, including the DACA fix for the so-called dreamers who are in this country, the kids of undocumented individuals who came across the border, through no fault of their own and have basically grown up in this country. Congress needs to take care of that before Donald Trump set a March deadline. But Democrats and some Republicans are saying, no, we're going to deal with this before that March deadline. And what they're using is the spending bill, because if the spending bill does not pass, the government can go into a shutdown. And, this was, talk of happening before Christmas. Push that off, but this time it could be real. And so you have the DACA fix, Children's Health Program, and the FISA, the U.S. surveillance laws. Those also need to be reauthorized. There's a lot of high-ticket items that just need to be taken care of in the next few weeks.
Well, you mentioned DACA. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, he actually spoke about DACA and immigration on Sunday's Face the Nation, saying he hopes that they can make a deal. Let's play some of that sound.
On DACA, there is a deal to be had. The dreamers can have the life they've dreamed of if the Democrats and Republicans can give. We need the wall, not a complete 2,200-mile wall. We need border security. You marry that up with the DREAM Act. There's a deal to be had on immigration, and I want to do it in January. I don't want to wait till March.
So they've already avoided making a deal on DACA before Christmas. Yeah. So do you think that they will actually try to tackle this issue in the coming weeks?
I believe they will, and I think that they have to, because keep in mind, really what happened in December was not necessarily that the government, that Congress passed a full year of government funding. No, what they did is they simply extended spending for a few more weeks. But at some point, Congress has to fund the government for the entire year, and that's what's going to happen in January. And that's why the vote in January is so key, because items like DACA, again, those other items that I mentioned, can be held, can hold this funding bill hostage, and members of Congress can refuse to pass what we call these continuing resolutions, these short-term, spending, basically stopgap spending bills. They can refuse that, and then you have a government shutdown. And again, you're hearing people like Lindsey Graham. There's at least 35 Republicans who wrote to the Republican leaders saying we have to take care of this problem. And I believe that you will see a DACA fix with some kind of border security. As Lindsey Graham was saying, you won't get the entire wall, but various patches and parts of the wall do need to be upgraded, and President Trump can claim that as a victory. But the key is, again, these so-called dreamers who have been in this country and basically have grown up as American citizens, have kids of their own, facing deportation to a country that they've never known. And that's something that President Trump placed a high priority on dealing with. And so I believe that you will see a number of Democrats and Republicans coming together to get that done.
Well, no shortage of things to get done in the next few weeks. All right, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
President Trump slammed Iran and Pakistan in his first tweets of 2018. He blasted the Iran nuclear deal and called for change. Now, he said, quote, Pakistan has given the U.S. nothing but lies and deceit. That's something that will probably resonate with a lot of his supporters. So how does this kind of tweet kicking off the new year play into his America First foreign policy?
That's a great question, and that's something that Congress wants to know as well. Lindsey Graham also, recommended that President Trump basically throw out the Iran nuclear agreement, and I think that this year will be key in terms of what America does on the foreign stage, on the the international stage, and I believe that you'll see the Foreign Affairs and Foreign Relations Committee up on Capitol Hill taking a much more aggressive, active role, and not necessarily in the ways that President Trump likes. I mean, if you look at what happened last year, I believe it was right before the August recess when Congress sent him a bill of Russia sanctions that he did not want to sign. He felt hamstrung by it, but there was a veto-proof majority, essentially, in Congress, came together to support this package of sanctions that the president basically had to agree to. So it was interesting to see this as the way that President Trump is kicking off the 2018 season, given that it's also an election year in the United States. So we're not going to see Congress pass too many. I don't predict we'll see too many major pieces of legislation on a domestic front going through. However, when it comes to international relations, you have a hotbed issues in North Korea and what's going on with the U.S. defense systems. I think that we'll see President Trump and Congress playing a more active role on the international stage.
Well, speaking of Russia, sources tell me that despite the fact that the White House says the special counsel investigation is wrapping up, it is expected to go well into next year and intensify. So how is Robert Mueller's investigation going to overshadow the President Trump's agenda and what he's trying to accomplish going into the next year?
And that actually is a very key question because, again, as I was saying, 2018 is an election year. And so you have Democrats who want control of the House. They see a lot of people upset in their districts and are hoping for a big wave. And the way that the president plays this is going to be key because if Democrats do take control of the House and Bob Mueller perhaps, and I'm just speculating, that perhaps the special counsel recommends impeachment or says that the president, could have colluded with Russia, then it's up to Congress. It's up to Congress to decide what to do. And it's a very political situation. And if Democrats are controlling the House, then they can launch impeachment proceedings, which is what a lot of people are hearing about on the campaign trail. Hearing, their constituents saying, if we elect you, will you support impeachment proceedings against this president? So it's interesting the way that President Trump said that he has faith in that Bob Mueller will conduct a fair and honest investigation. I think he said that just recently at the New York Times. But again, it's a heady issue. We have a lot going on in this country.
No doubt, and another year with a lot going on in Washington. Molly Hooper, thank you so much.
Thank you.